Hello YouTube, and welcome back one and all to a Rage reaction video, where today, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing our second reaction to the British group Yes. Now, based on my first time ever listening, but the very first song I ever heard from Yes was Starship Trooper, and I've got to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I listened to it once and I have not returned to it. And maybe that could be something I want to maybe look into, perhaps in a future video. Well, future times when we take a look at Yes, because, and I don't particularly know whether or not Drama is supposed to be a concept album in which we have to go through one song at a time, because I'm quite intrigued by the premise of Machine Messiah. And just think about all the great songs out there that have the word Messiah in them. There's Leper Messiah, and oh yeah, that's right, news about lockdown and all that. Lockdown free for what should we call this one? Total lockdown free, the Prisoner of Azkaban, or something like that. Anyway, getting back on track. I'm going to talk a little bit about Leper Messiah, possibly towards the end, but in the meantime, we've got some work to do here, ladies and gentlemen, and I think I know, if you've ever seen my, probably not, but ever seen my impression to Starship Trooper, then you'll know that, yes, I would give a big thumbs up to, because I wouldn't return to them if for no other reason than I didn't think we were going to enjoy ourselves. Also, I couldn't even tell you when the last time I ever did a song that was divided into parts. That's an encouraging sign if ever I saw one. So let's just get started, shall we? Machine Messiah in 3, 2, 1, and that's nice. That's a really good start. Oh, hang on. That's like vintage Iron Maiden, and in 30 seconds. That's cool. That's cool. I think it's fair to say that I've made the right choice in coming back to Yes. 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 Yes, I did. Oh, hang on.
Run down the street where the glass shows that summer has gone. Age in the doorways, resenting the face of the dawn. All of them standing in line, all of them waiting for time. From time to wait healer, from Machine Messiah is born. Cables that carry the light to the cities we build. Threads that link diamonds of light to the satanic mills. To see it everywhere.
Okay, I just have to like take a quick little pause here because we're halfway into the song and sounds like classic Iron Maiden lyrics, like almost like Rush at their absolute prime. And ironically, I believe it was 100% that Moving Pictures came out. The album came out 1 year after Drama did in '81. So, which for me, and I don't know whether or not, because it varies greatly, but if you really wanted to like take a good example of where you think Rush were absolutely in their prime, would have been the beginning of the 1980s. And and if you guys know me, I am a die-hard fan of Canada's greatest trio act band. Sorry, but yes, I wouldn't even be shocked or surprised if Rush did not look up to these guys, or vice versa. They have got a lot going on.
Machine Messiah, the mindless search for a higher controller. Take me to the far and hold me. Show me the strength of your singular eye. Messiah, take me into the fire. Hold me, machine Messiah, and show me
the strength
the
of your
strength of your singular.
Holy moly! I feel like I'm gonna have to like take. I need some like water or something after that. That, ladies and gentlemen, was how what on earth. That, guys, was just brilliant. And written by 5 guys wrote this. I mean, when you really, I suppose when you think about it, it's at least musicians that will have to write their part in as well, and just for it all to jam together, I suppose. But I suppose really that's how it is. And I gotta tell you what, whether it was White, Downs, Squire, Howell, Horn, I think this was sort of like, Yes seems to be like one of those groups where just a bit like Rush, it's a team effort, and just to substitute one of them is a bit like it's a bit like eating a bowl of cereal without the cereal. There's just it just doesn't work, does it? And now one thing I want to like just point very, very briefly, because usually I wouldn't like focus on a detail this small. Machine Messiah, take me into the fire. That could just easily be a Prometheus reference right there. Take me into a world where you've now given power to us. And we, obviously, again, because I was not around during the 1980s, but then again, your guess is as good as mine as to just how advanced technology had basically come since the 1980s, and now we are all bowing down. Maybe this was, maybe I don't know, maybe like the Walkman was introduced in 1980 and people were queuing for miles outside, or maybe wasn't Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back released in 1980? Maybe that's what they were queuing for. The worship of sci-fi, the worship of technology, and that's more or less what Machine Messiah is, to summarize it. And just like the comparison to Leper Messiah, people are placing all their faith into a leader, a king, just like Jesus. They follow him. Technology has become a following, and just I want to run through 2 things already. Because you could really pull this story from just about any angle and just dissect and literally gorge on its gooey innards. This song was, these lyrics were made for people like me. I can tell you, if you're not a fan of this sort of music, then it is what it is. But this is for me, so I'm gonna like just leap head in. Cables that carry the lives to the cities we build, literally turning planet Earth into sort of like some giant hideous organ, and you have veins of all different colors running, and the comparison isn't particularly a very isn't a new one, you might say, but it's the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? Art to see in every way, that we feel it every day and know that maybe we'll change. Offered the chance to finally unlearn our lessons and alter our stance. Because when you really think about it, altering a stance means almost a sense of self-mortification. I.e., if you want to believe, if you want to become a mathematician, for example, you're going to have to understand some very basic principles. I mean, to go through the most basic of them all, of 1 + 1 = 2, it seems almost unnecessary to say it, but if you want to be a mathematician, you've got to learn maths, and you've got to learn the basics before you can learn the more advanced stages of, let's say, a Fibonacci's diagram, or why on earth they decided to name an expression hypotenuse, or whatever it is, or what sine cos x equals, who even came up with that idea. But then again, you've got to work up to that point, and maybe to delete everything you thought about religion, about the concepts of good and evil, to be replaced by a system that is basically a cold, heartless, dickless machine. Take this. I'll tell you what. Take this example. It's an iPhone. It seems we see and probably use one of these devices every single day since we've owned it, and it's practical, it's functional, it's compact. But then again, we cannot deny, we almost see this screen, we almost see everything through this screen almost more than we do of our families, loved ones, or any of the birds we've been out with over the years. You know, I haven't actually changed this background in like nearly 4 years now. It's just because this was like 6:15 in the morning, and I thought it was a really good shot. But anyway, putting that down for a side, you see what my point is that you quickly begin to stray, and you become not absorbed into the world of religion. You're absorbed into the world of technology, which, God, this is like taking me back to my my year 13 Gothic literature, English literature classes, about the conflicts of religion and science, which have been occurring since, you would say, the days of Christopher Marlowe and William Shakespeare. And in many ways, they're sort of like still continue. The only reason that those sort of themes can't really continue, and maybe that's possibly why I've yet to see is sort of like similar stuff to Machine Messiah, probably in modern times, is because whatever angle can you attack religion, technology at, in how it's now become as dangerous or as influential as that of the world of religion. It's a sort of like an indirect form of cultivation theory, where the idea is that the world of television, or the world of technology as a whole for that matter, will become as about as influential and as impactful on our lives as the world of religion has. But because of that, we've essentially, we've essentially turned whole generations of people into basically screen slaves, and are now obeying a sort of new code in our world that, yes, want us to rebel against. You want a really good example of this? There is a program on BBC One. It's called Songs of Praise. It is a Sunday afternoon program that's about 30 minutes long. It's on every Sunday, and it's the only real time I can work out where the BBC opts to put in Catholicism, or I think it's more for the Church of England that they put on, and they have segments where they zoom it, where they go to churches and that, and film congregations singing aloud. And it's one of those kind of shows. But the great irony, and I didn't find this out until about a few days ago, is that it's not putting religion on TV. It's turning TV into a religion. You're not going to learn much. You're not going to learn much about God, and if you're just watching people learn and teach you about it, it's about what you've got to know. You've got to teach for yourself, and that's why I was kind of like making all those comparisons to Rush earlier in this video, is because in many ways, I was still in university when I was first listening to Rush, and Rush were kind of like the big eye opener, making you more self-aware of your surroundings and what you're capable of, and how the fads that we call luxuries. They are luxuries where they are not luxuries. It's... there's no other way to putting about this, is that groups like Yes and Rush came in a time where they were rebelling against the status quo, and the status quo is basically what's been established into the normal, the every single day. I mean, there will be rock groups in the future, don't get me wrong about this, where they're going to write songs about what's going on today, about lockdowns and how we're feeling restrained and how we're no longer allowed to see one another in the same way before. There will be plenty of stuff like that in the future, and the only thing I could sort of like wait for is that, well, so to sort of like summarize my impressions about Machine Messiah is that this is... or these songs like these where you begin to realize is that not everybody thinks the same way, and everybody has very eye-opening opinions about how they can paint the world and how they look at the world. This is why I wanted to get back into doing these videos, because songs like these are home for me, and I wouldn't be the same man as I was 2.5 years ago if I wasn't. I would just be like everyone else, and as you're probably going to see for yourself, I don't particularly like being related to everyone else. I want to be not different, but I want to be myself. And who is myself, you might be saying? Well, stick around long enough and hopefully all will be revealed. I'm not going to call myself a messiah. I'm not going to call myself God. I'm going to call myself... I'm not even going to call myself a machine. I'm going to call myself a simple man. That's what the Rush demographic is. Simple men and women leading their lives without compromise, without conformity, just being them. And to that I say, we should give them a big fat yes. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Machine Messiah by Yes. Please make sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Machine Messiah for yourselves. And if there's any other further songs you want me to do by Yes, then feel free to oblige. And I will see all of you guys again in the next reaction video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.